in the Microsoft ecosystem. I'm Charlotte Caliragos, an account executive here supporting our customers throughout their work management journey. And I also have on the call with me Stella Simpson, one of our solutions architects, who will be walking us through the demo portion of today's session. A quick look at today's agenda. I will briefly cover introductions and some background of our work here at Marquee360 before passing it over to Stella for a deeper dive into the timesheets application. And we will have some time at the end for Q&A, but feel free to raise a hand or drop a question in the chat throughout. We want this to be as interactive and helpful for you guys as possible. All right, some background on Marquee360 for anyone who is new or unfamiliar to us. We are a Microsoft Gold partner for work management and M365 cloud solutions. And what that means is that we've been recognized by Microsoft as a trusted partner to work side by side with their team in supporting their customers throughout their Microsoft investment. We focus our work on the M365 applications such as Planner and Teams, as well as the Power Platform with tools like Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. Our founders are actually previous Microsoft employees and have been in the work management space for over 20 years. So they've seen many iterations of Microsoft's project management tools, everything from Project Server to Project Online, and more recently, Planner and the Power Platform, where Microsoft is shifting a lot of their focus. At a high level, these are the three main areas we focus on. We spend a lot of time helping customers extend the Microsoft work management platform, working closely with their product team to ensure our customers are receiving the most up-to-date technology and capabilities. We take a consultative approach to designing the right solutions for every team and support organizations throughout implementation, training, and ongoing support after go live. In addition to supporting the native Microsoft tools like Planner, we've taken years of experience and best practices to build solutions that help fill gaps across the project management lifecycle. So we've built PPM360, which is our pre-configured solution designed to extend Microsoft Planner. PPM360 is a collection of Power Apps developed by us that gives teams a place for things like project intake, resource management, risks and issues tracking, and then brings it all together with interactive reporting through Power BI. What PPM360 does is it extends the use of Microsoft Planner and integrates it with other parts of the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, such as Teams, SharePoint, and Power BI, like I said. If there are any areas your team is looking to enhance or extend the Planner tool, we're happy to have a separate conversation to discuss possible solutions there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Stella to go ahead and talk about the timesheets application.
Hi everyone. So today we'll be looking at our timesheets application here at Marquee360. Today we'll be covering how you can view and assign projects and tasks automatically, add comments, track administrative non-project time, and submit timesheets as well. So let's go ahead and take a look. I'm sharing my screen here. Now, what we're looking at is the project area. So this is called Planner for the Web, specifically the R Accelerator, which is PPM360. This is an area here where you can track projects. So what we're looking at here is our dashboard. We're going to go ahead and navigate over to plans. This is where all of my active plans live. My active plans, meaning plans where I'm the project manager. I can look at all plans here and I can see all the plans, all of people's plans here in this tool. And if I go back to my active plans, let's go ahead and dive into this project called Detroit Build. Now you can see I have a lot of different tabs here for project tracking. I also have a nice business process flow at the top. So I have a summary, project charter, status, an area for action items, financials, resources where I keep all my resources. It tells me who the role is, start and finish. And then down here, I have our resource control, as you can see here. It's really nice. Now, let's go ahead and look at our tasks tab. Now, for those of you that are familiar with Planner, specifically a premium plan, it's basically the way you can think about it is this is a premium plan from Planner embedded into this tab. So we're going to have those 15 out of the box Microsoft columns. We're going to have the ability to create 10 additional custom fields. We're also going to have our 6 views above here. So grid, board, timeline, charts, people, goals, in addition actually to assignments as well. So if I look at this assignment level here, I can go in and I can see my resources and I can break it down by days that they're assigned these tasks and so on. So currently we can see on this project, the assignments that I'm assigned to. So obviously I'm pretty much running this project solo. As we can see here, I'm assigned to all of these tasks, right? So I am coming in here, I'm managing my projects. It's currently 6/4. At the end of this week, I'm going to want to submit my time for this project, right? I can see here I've been assigned these tasks from 6/4 and on. So I'm working on these tasks and I have some tasks coming up the following week. Now I want to submit my time. What do I do? Now I'm going to use our timesheet app where these projects and specifically this task are being populated. So if we navigate over to TimeSheets360 here, this is where I would submit my timesheet. Let's go ahead and submit my timesheet under the timesheet area here. Now we can see here for the week of 6/1 to 6/7. I just drop down. Here are my tasks, and here are the individual project hours. So for example, we have develop function specifications. We come back here, we see, develop functional specifications. We see here, and if I add my effort column, we can see that total effort on there is going to be 40 hours. We'll go ahead and move this over here so we can see that better. So 40 hours for this task, which we're showing 40 hours here, right? Now, let's say I didn't get all 40 hours done this week, but I spent all day Monday, I spent all day Tuesday, and I spent all day Wednesday. We can say that I was actually out of office on Thursday. And this is where I have administrative time, so I can, log outside of project work time for administrative time, management, out of office, training certification, vacation, so on. I was back in office on Friday, and I spent most of my time wrapping up my conduct needs analysis task here. There we go. Now, if we look at these task lines here, we can see that for this task, I have actuals 24, and currently I have remaining, right? But this will update after this has been submitted and approved to reflect the approved hours. So this is actually going to read back to the schedule upon approval. And this app is, we're looking at it right now out of the box, but it's very customizable. So there's a requirements phase when we deploy this app. And one of the questions we'll ask you is, should this read back to the project schedule, either when the project manager submits their time or the team member submits their time or upon approval? So that's one of the many things that you'll have customization options on. Another one you might ask yourself is, well, we don't have people working Saturday and Sunday. We don't need these rows to show. That's fine. That's also one of the many customizations that we will account for. So we can hide these if needed as well. You might also have some more administrative lines that need to be added. Those are things that are also covered during the requirements. Now let me go here and say, I'm going to add a comment. And I can add a comment here on this line too. And I can add one here too. Okay. Now, we can see here that I have 40 hours. So I have all my hours for the week, 8, 8, and 8. And I'm ready to submit my timesheet. Now, if I have a task that I worked on that's not here, I have the option to add a task. Once again, during the requirements, you'll determine if that's needed or not. I can save this to come back to later, or I can go ahead and submit it. So I'm going to go ahead and submit my task. But before I do that, I just wanted to point out, for example, that you actually have this thing here called a refresh, and this is actually going to bring in it's going to force something on the back end to bring in the most up-to-date information. So if I were to say, reach out to my project manager on this project and say, hey, someone would say, hey, Stella, I work on this task, but I'm not seeing it in my task lines. Stella would say, okay, let me go ahead and add that for you. They could go in and assign them that task if it already exists, or add that task and then save their plan. And the team member simply has to press refresh, and it'll take a few moments and they'll see that task appear live. So it's on demand that we're seeing this. There's also something that runs on the back end that every hour it's going to automatically pull in up-to-date tasks, but refresh is going to force that flow to happen. Now let's go ahead and submit my task, okay? Or submit my timesheet for this week. Timesheet submitted. Great. Now, I can go under manage timesheets here, and I can see that this timesheet has been submitted. This other one's in progress. It's coming up. I already wanted to go ahead and start putting time in for the week to come, as you can see here. So this one's in progress. I haven't gone into it in a while, and these have been approved. Now, on the ones that have been submitted here, and even the approved ones, we're going to see this recall option up here at the top. Sorry, once it's submitted, we cannot recall it. Now, keep in mind another customization thing here. So recall is, what is that? It's the ability to pull this back. So I might say, I messed up, I logged too much time on a task, or I didn't log enough on another task. I want to pull that back. So I can recall that timesheet. And during requirements, you have the option to decide if recall option is available only upon submitted, upon approved, or in progress. So in progress here, right, I haven't quite submitted it, so we're not seeing the recall option there quite yet, but it's been submitted here. So I saw that recall first and it went away, but we have the ability to recall it if we want up until the actual approval. Here's ones that have been actual approved. So in this case, we can approve a recalled one as well. Now the approver is going to have, so this one's submitted, let's take a look. So I'm going to be a project manager. Let's go ahead and go into my approvals area, which is going to be here. So here's the line is submitted for. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to be able to review this. Now I can search by employee. So I'm the only one that's submitted one so far, but if I have other employees here, I can look. This view is also changeable too. So right now it's by employee, right? So I can filter by anyone here. And I can also have the choice if I want to approve this timesheet as a whole, or I want to reject it as a whole, or I only want to approve specific tasks, right? Now, another thing we'll have too is a send back option. So I can say, let's say I want to approve all of them except for one task and I want to send that back. I have two options here. I can send it back. The team member that submitted it would receive an email saying they need to update again for submission, or I could simply contact that person that I have an issue with the line and say, go ahead and recall your timesheet and make, this update to it, and then submit it again, and then I'll approve. So two different ways we can go about that, right? Also want to note here that as an approver, I'm going to receive this email here. So it says, hello, PM approver, a timesheet has been submitted for your approval, submitted by for this week here. And then this will take me directly into the timesheet for approval. Also, as a submitter, you have the option to send a notification to the submitter saying your timesheet has been submitted with those details as well. Now, one thing I do want to note here is that currently these projects, the project center for this timesheet is what we call RPPM360, which lives in a model-driven app here. Now, if you're using the traditional planner, whether it be a planner within Teams or planner, like I said, planner premium, either way, we can also pull in the project data from that. So we can pull it in from planner, we can pull it in from another Canvas app where you might be managing projects. So the plan center can act as whatever you want it to. It doesn't necessarily have to be limited to RPPM 360 tool or a model driven app necessarily. As long as planner is the base for it, as the table in the back end, we can pull from it and pull these tasks. Go ahead and approve this timesheet. I can enter some comments. I'm going to go ahead and submit. And timesheet approved. Great. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to discuss here is that up at the top, I have this little admin area, right? So I can actually turn on if approvals are required and also turn on email notifications as well. Also, we can see your PPM360, right? Well, if I'm here in the timesheet app, the way I can get there is this little globe icon. When I click on it, it's actually going to take me to the project center. And here we would have an area on the left-hand nav that says timesheets. You can either have it embedded into this, or you can choose to have it open in a different window altogether. Now, one thing we are working on internally at Marquee 360 is timesheet apps. So currently when you get the timesheet app, you get the timesheet app along with, a requirements phase, some training on it for your users, as well as some other aspects. And one thing that we're also going to be adding to that here in the near future is a set of reports. So those reports would detail, you could search by project manager, compliance will also be checked on those reports. And currently at this time, you can make any custom timesheet reports as well. So we will get together with you, design what the report should look like, the type of data that should feed into that report, and those reports would live and be housed in Power BI. Now, this is our timesheet for our Canvas app. And I just want to note here what's great about this is the back end of this is actually SharePoint. So people that are submitting time, right, they actually can come here and submit their time with only a Microsoft 365 license. They actually wouldn't need a planner license to come submit their time here. So that's great from a licensing perspective. All they would need is Microsoft 365 license and to be shared permissions to add their time in this application. Do we have any questions or anything we want to see more of, whether it be regarding PPM 360 or the timesheet application? Okay. So I think that when we schedule this, we kind of like set some time aside for questions. Since we have some time, for those of you that are using Planner right now, we actually have a set of just Planner reports that you can take a quick look at. Yes, Kate, did you have a question? Okay, so here's some planner reports that we just wanted to quickly look through here. So this can kind of show us, our planner dashboard, for example, and I can click into the plan. It'll take us into the plan and planner as well. So these are a set of some of our nice planner reports. We can see our resource assignments here as well. Resource dashboard, task overview, plan timeline, planner milestone.
Stella,
Yes,
actually, I have a question.
yes.
This is Ty Phillips. When you were showing that, can you pull up that timesheet example you were showing earlier?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is maybe less about the application itself and more about kind of what you see the typical use cases are. Understanding this is really just all this runs on top of Planner and SharePoint. One of the questions I have is, I see that in this particular timesheet example, all the employees' time is being accounted for, whether it's going to project hours or whether it's going to, out of office or meetings or, any other activities. So one of the questions I have is, are you seeing, in your knowledge, your customers using it typically in this way? And I ask because behind the scenes, like obviously that time has to go somewhere, right? And so I'm curious, like if like let's say a particular employee is working on 3 different projects, right? And so they're logging time against those 3 projects, but then they're also, you know, they have these administrative activities. Like from a back end perspective, I'm kind of wondering where that data goes, and then from a reporting perspective, how the organization might aggregate all that. I realize it's kind of a general question, but I'm just, it's more of a use case kind of question.
Yeah, no, that's a great question because it's like we have 40 hours in a week, but sometimes we work like more or less, right? So for the customers we've deployed this for so far, one of the customers, most of the people logging their hours, it was like a billable situation. So they would take that data and then I think like on a monthly or biweekly basis, they were invoicing the customers based on the people that logged time. For our other customer, however, it wasn't a billable situation. It was just basically being able to look at the report and say, okay, this person spent this much time on this project. It went over or less than we initially expected it to, kind of tracking like where all that person's time is going. Like this project got more of this person's time than another project. That's why this project is behind. So basically being able to compare that with the reports, which by our next webinar, hopefully we'll have those reports ready to go to show you guys. But at the time now you can get custom reports. So obviously you're going to want your reports to display the data in a way where you can either essentially make decisions, right? So you want to say, okay, I can see from this report that Stella spent all her time on Detroit build. That's why her other projects are a little bit behind. So we need to like figure out what project is priority and kind of get her to balance out her time a little better. From the administrative standpoint, right now from an out of office standpoint, you could technically have this as long as your tool that you use to do out of office has an API. We could link this to that to where when I put 8 hours here, it links to that tool and like deducts time from that. A lot of different options there. But obviously we'd have a filter on the report for administrative time versus project time. Now, that also brings up a really good point because right now, what I've talked about mostly here is recording time at the task level, right? Not just the project. One of the customers that we deployed this for did not want it reading back to or even being recorded at the task level. They still had tasks assigned to them, but they were going in here and recording at the project level. So that is something we are seeing with our customers is that they would prefer people tracking against the project itself as a whole rather than individual tasks. First, I just want to check, Ty, does that answer your question?
Partially, yeah. And thank you for the examples. That's helpful. I think one of the things I'm wondering is like behind the scenes in like the example I gave of somebody that's working on 3 different projects and then they have these non-project hours, right? And especially like in an organization that's not doing billable, you would see maybe a lot more non-project hours because you're not, you know, that the organization would not be as incentivized to make sure those people are doing only billable hours. My question is like, so in this particular implementation, those non-project hours, where are they going? Are they going to a plan? Like, does the company typically create one plan to encompass all the administrative out of office hours and all that stuff, or what is that? I'm just trying to understand what the back end structure might look like to capture non-project time.
That's a great question. No, so it's not linked to a plan. These are no matter what, if you have no projects or anything, these lines will always be here for administrative. Essentially just goes to like a large bucket of like a large bucket like in the back. So from a back end standpoint, it's not going towards a plan. It just kind of falls into a bucket, but we can see them on the report. So on the back end, it's not really.
So it's okay. So you guys have basically like a whole SharePoint database here, and everything goes into the database, and then the stuff that is going towards projects, then you have, a backend connector or whatever that connects those that could connect those tasks to specific tasks on projects.
Absolutely.
But the master source is your database.
Absolutely.
Got it. Okay.
Power Automate is the flow on the back that we're using for that.
Yep. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Tamara. Okay.
I had a question as far as like the information that we are seeing on the screen right now. Can that be exported into, say, Excel?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So we basically just we'd get that information from you and the requirements, how you want that Excel to look like, and we would have like a little export button here. And then we would ask you, should that be only exportable for the approvers or for the team members as well? But yes, that's definitely possible. Another thing too is if you're an admin, you would have access to the SharePoint list in the back. So basically you could just go into the SharePoint list in the back, filter based on what you need and export that as well. So that's like just simple out of the box. We can easily add a tool here for you to be able to export this to Excel as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Good question. Just a quick question, Ty. How is your organization currently tracking time?
So we use another application made by Deltek, and and this is really not for any kind of payroll purposes. This is used not throughout the organization, but by some of our engineering groups to track project time primarily. But we do capture all of employees' efforts, including just like you have here, out of office and admin stuff, just so we can get a sense for like how are people loaded and so on and so forth. But the challenge we have right now is that we have these sort of generic buckets for each project. And this is just the way we set it up. It's not an inherent limitation of the tool. But the problem is it's not, the tool is a time tracking tool. It's not a project management tool. So when we actually want to do project management, we're using sort of an ad hoc, motley collection of different tools per department, depending on how people are doing it. So if we're using Planner, for example, we have essentially duplicate time tracking going on, right? We have the people entering their hours in the Deltek tool, and we have people entering, time against Planner or project or whatever other or ad hoc system, whatever people are using. So does that answer your question?
Yes, yeah, it does. Are you guys like dealing with a billable situation or not really? It doesn't sound like it.
No, we're not doing billable time.
Okay, nice. Just curious. So what are you guys using for project management?
Again, it completely depends on the department, on the manager. We don't have a unified system, so some departments are, and it also depends on the size of the project. So everything from Excel spreadsheets to Trello boards to Planner to Microsoft Project to the back of a napkin. So
The back
that's a
of a
little bit.
napkin is crazy. That's so funny.
That's a little bit of an exaggeration.
No, I know that's hilarious. That's funny. So do you guys think that having like a unified place like this for like a project management tool would be helpful?
I mean, yeah, in a perfect world, the same way I think that like flying would be helpful.
Yeah, no, I understand. I
So,
totally
so
understand.
yeah, this looks like a nice tool that you have. How we would make this work in our organization. We'd have to have some internal discussion on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you want like a separate, like private, demo on all the capabilities here, because we have like a light package, like obviously like it's light pricing and also light, here where basically you just get the summary tab, the status tab, which you can use to create status reports, the tasks, and then issues and risks as well. So it's really just 4 here. And then you have like this flow, and then we have like a set of reports, which are our full reports here that comes with it. So you do get a lot with it, So if you are interested in that, Charlotte, I'm sure is on the call right now. She'd be happy to set up a quick little 30-minute demo to walk you through those. But like this is the status report you get on it, which is really nice too.
Yeah, I don't know, Mark or Nick, if either you want to chime in on this. I don't want to act like I'm speaking for the group.
Yeah, personally, I'd be interested in that. Yeah.
Great. Well, Charlene, if you want to reach out to Mark and set that up, that would be great.
I'll definitely follow up with you guys after this and we can get that set up for you.
And Charlene, I'm happy to do that demo since I already know Ty and Mark.
Perfect.
Thanks.
And this is Mark again. I guess I have a question on the licensing. So just to reiterate, you were saying that individual users entering time would not need a planner license. They would just simply need access to SharePoint. So who does need that? Just the project managers?
Yeah, the people managing the project here, they need a full Plan 3 license. So if I'm coming in here, I'm building the project. I'm the project manager. Then I need a Plan 3 license. But let me actually divert over to this real quick because I don't think you guys need all of this from what Ty described. So I wanted to kind of give you a look at our light package. Like, so it's basically just be 4 tabs. But basically, so like if I'm a project manager, I'm running the project, I need a Planner 3 license. Now, if I'm just being assigned tasks, I just need Microsoft 365. Now, this tool here is model driven app. It uses security rules. So they obviously would need the right security rule, right? But then if I'm coming in here and just being assigned tasks, I'm just managing the tasks I'm assigned to. I just need Microsoft 365. If I want someone to record a risk or add an issue or something or make a status report, they're going to need a Plan 1 license. And we have a really nice document that outlines licensing for this tool that Charlene can share with you as well.
Okay, yeah, we could go over that offline then too. Thanks.
Yeah. Charlene, if you want to just shoot that Mark's way, that'd be good. Or we can cover it in the demo as well.
Okay, I'll include that whenever I reach out to you guys to schedule.
Okay, sounds good. But yeah, this is the light
Okay,
here.
thanks. That's all I had. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the light. So we just have these 5 tabs here. And obviously from a pricing standpoint, it's going to be significantly less as well. Does anyone else have any questions or anything more you wanted to see of?
Hey, Stella.
Mhm.
Kind of going back to the situation I described earlier in our organization, do you have clients that essentially are working with multiple time tracking / project management systems, and how have you successfully integrated your tool into their workflows?
So I actually so far haven't had a customer where like typically the company is across all departments.